Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Happy hump day, I guess. We got halfway through a week, although it doesn't feel like it because we missed out on Monday. I hate short weeks, as I'm sure a lot of you guys do as well, or I hate long weekends because it's one more extra day away from the market. And also, then also short weeks mess up. I, because it only has 4 days in it, my mind is pretty good at estimating how much SPY option should be worth. But you have to adjust for the one extra less day. So in any event, I'm better at estimating on a 5 day week what a net the money put should be on Friday than I am on a 4 day week. All right, guys. Well, let's look at this market while we're waiting for people to show up. Rod and Ambassador of Quan are having a live stream, and I can't get into it. I'm still locked out of Discord. I'm in my Discord, but it won't let me in Rod's Discord. It won't let me verify my phone number. It's nothing I've screwed up. It just says resources not available now. I think Rod can probably override it. But anyway, I'd really like to watch it. And that's the only reason this is late, is because I was kind of waiting for it to be over in case any of you guys were over there watching it also. SB, were you over there? Hey, SB, but were you over there watching? I bet you were over there with Rod. Anyway, I'm sorry I missed it. Really sorry I missed it. But I sent a message to Rod. I think he'll be able to override and get me in. It's not believing I'm a real person. So remember, before we forget, I just want to say not financial advice. Consult a professional planner. This is just going to stay up for like 60 seconds. So it'll go away automatically. So it won't get in the way once we start looking at other stuff. But it is important to know that I'm definitely not trying to give financial advice. Oh, you weren't in there. Okay. Well, I figured you might be because they were talking options. It looked really good. I could read the comments. I could read the comments, but I couldn't. Or they're talking high yield ETFs, but they're also talking selling calls on them and all kinds of stuff. So I read the comments and I couldn't get in. All right. Well, let's see what happened here. We'll do our own deal. The SPY is, well, it's up after, no, it's down after hours. Something must have missed earnings. Not down that. Well, it's not down hardly at all. Okay. Well, anyway, we had a nice day. We had a higher high and a higher low. It looks like buyers were here in this area that we suspect might be a demand area or supply. I always forget, but it's support, whichever one's support. I say support and resistance. Other people say, other way. We got, let's see what SB is saying. How many reports out that are being, well, we'll take a look at that. Yeah, we will take a look at that. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. But yeah, that's one of the reasons I'm not bullish on the market this year. That the tariffs are, I mean, you guys know. Anyway, it's not going to end well. I don't think there's no way we get out of this year, the first half of this year, without a 20% pullback. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. All right, so that's the SPY. Sorry about that. Here is the Qs. Shout out to Dan from Discord, also a moderator, but I don't think he's in here right now. He sent me a microphone, and I think it sounds a lot better. But I'm out of ports. But I mean, heck, you can also see the screen better, so I'll probably just do it like this. I'm getting some new equipment, but I'm out of ports again. I had an extra port, but then I got an extra screen too. So now I'm running 3 screens. So it's a long story. So anyway, all right. Well, thank you, Dan. I think this sounds much better. I recorded my first video on it this afternoon, and it sounds much better. The camera sounds a little echoey and stuff. I think this is better. But let me know what you guys think. I'd be anxious to know. All right. So also I have on the fan. And I don't know if you can hear it, if maybe I need to turn off the fan while I'm doing this, but in any event, we'll figure all that stuff out later. So the Qs also made a higher high, higher low. And they're also in this area where there'd been a previous, where hopefully there's buyers there. So we'll see. Of course, the problem with the fear is if there isn't buyers there, if this area right in here is done, exhaust all its buyers, then we could be looking at 575 and lower, 560. But we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. It's been a heck of a run since April. That is for sure. But this is kind of has all the hallmarks of a distribution top. So we shall see. All right. I'm sorry about that. Sorry about that. Let me share the screen. All right. My bad. Macs just aren't made to work without a multi-touch surface, or they don't work very well. Okay, but I've adapted. All right, so Bitcoin. Let's look at IBIT. I mean, that is ugly. That is ugly, ugly, ugly. It's always darkest before the storm, I guess. We'll see which way this one resolves. The last kind of one like that, unfortunately, resolved to the downside. All right, so let's look over here at gold. Look at gold, silver, oil, and then we're going to look at the funds. And I'll look at you guys, whatever funds you want to look at. So anyway, gold plus 2%. Okay. Silver. This was 5 earlier. Yeah, 5.5%. That's awesome. Now let's start looking at funds. This one is not a diversified diva yet. And it's actually not diversified because it's all in on silver. But this one could definitely be a diva. And this is SLVX, the new fund from Nicholas. This came out today, and I'm making some content on it right now. I'm about halfway through with my Patreon article. I've been doing some creative writing this afternoon. I'm doing it myself. I'm not using AI. I wrote an article on this one myself. I did have AI fact check it and spell check it. I mean, not fact check it. All right. But anyway, this is a great day for this fund to be announced. I mean, usually the first price is 20, but the first trade was actually at 21. Or no, the first trade was at 2094. Well, anyway, these things are issued at 20. So from 20 to 21 is 5%. Yeah, I mean, you couldn't buy it yesterday at 20, but that's what the market makers get it at. That's it. That's what they capitalized at. They have it capitalized with $2 million worth of capital. And what that comes to is 100,000 shares at 20 or whatever that I may have done the math wrong, but 1 million shares at 20 or no, 100,000 shares at 20. Yeah, 100,000 shares at 20. I actually did the math right. Okay, so anyway, good first day for these guys. These guys were up, it looks like to me, 5%. Even from the open, they were up, not as much though. Actually, 32% even, or 3.2% even from the open. So, all right, good job, Nicholas. And they also had GLDN is their gold-based one. And this one you really can't see, but it was, let's just look at the numbers. Yeah, this one's at 2044. And it's plus 31 cents in the post market. Good job. So, and if you think about this one, coming out at 20, being at 2044 is 2.5% up, something like that. The percent thing isn't working because it doesn't understand that it didn't go up from 0. Okay. So let's see if our other ones are looking good. Since we're talking gold and silver, now Howard on K-Yield uses a lot of gold and silver. It hurt him the other day, just like it hurt Alti. Alti has a lot of gold and silver too. Man, they got hurt the other day. Both of those ones did. But on days where gold and silver does well, they do as well. So let's see. Howard made 1.21% today. That's not too bad at all. How much were the Qs up again? The Qs were up like 1%, but then only closed up. Okay, 0.75%. Okay, well that's pretty good. Pretty good. All right. Now let's look at the other one that has a lot of gold and silver exposure, and that's ULTY. Now they did it to give them the reason they put the gold and silver in, and I assume the reason that Howard did also is to give them some kind of non-correlation, some not anti-correlation, but to decrease how correlated their account was. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't always help you out. Sometimes, occasionally, gold and silver go down at the same time. Stocks do, but in general, it's supposed to help, or it will decrease your correlation, but it doesn't mean it works perfectly every time. And really, Alti didn't get hit that. Well, Alti did get hit pretty bad, but because of the puts, Alti didn't get hit as bad as K-Yield. K-Yield really took it on the chin. But basically, it was, I guess, right here. This fund was this fund dropped like $3. So 10%. I mean, that was ugly. But K-Yield over the same time frame dropped $4 on 22 is 4, 18, 12, 16, 20. Was that 1/5 of a 1/5 and a half, 1/6, 17% or something, right? 15%. Anyway, all right. Well, let's look over here. Let's look over here at Blocks. Now, Blocks does not have gold and silver. They have crypto. So let's see how the crypto business is going today. Well, only up 0.5%. Not bad. These guys are also making this atomic wedgie pattern, this huge wedge right here. Anyway, I believe that chart pattern is called the atomic wedgie, but that's actually, I just made that up. You guys might be surprised. I just made that up. All right. Well, so let's look at ULTI, the biggest diva. This one's like Diana Ross and Mariah Carey squared, and drunk. Okay, well, but I mean, when it does well, I mean, Mariah Carey can belt out a hell of a tune, and so can Diana Ross. When it works, it works. This thing was up nearly 3% today. That is great. Good job, ULTI. All right, so let's go to the diversified divas. Then I will take your questions. Well, just in case anyone didn't see this morning, we have a new top 10 list. XOMO was at the top, but then it fell off recently. TSMY, Chippy. Well, Chippy's been at the top various times too. But anyway, TSMY, Chippy, SWZ, and RIV passed up XOMO. XOMO is still there in 5th place, but then we have XLII. Now that's actually a weird one to be in the max factor because it's industrials, but industrials are hot lately. XLII has had a heck of a run. So let's pull this up. XLII. Oh man, yeah, that has been a heck of a run. Now, yeah, and the fund's paid 6%, but it's only about probably 60% of a year. So at this rate, it might pay 10, 12%, something like that, 11, just eyeballing it. Great job, guys. All right, so, but now let's really go to the diversified divas. I just wanted to stop by the max factor. We'll have the show tonight. You guys can ask more questions on that. Oh, here's the positions for SLVX. We'll look at that some other time. That's for my content that's coming out. Here we go. The diversified divas. Okay, so I mean it's the same thing every day. Chippy's just running away with it. I mean, my gosh. Anyway, SPY is only up 91 basis points. I mean, I'm trying to see. I was just checking out my own portfolio. I'm actually not doing as bad as I thought I was. I thought I was doing bad, but actually I've been doing, I'm still underperforming a little bit, but I'm actually doing well. I'll make some content on that as well. All right. So anyway, but I compare myself to the SPY, but the SPY is not such a hard comparison. the past quarter because it's flat. So, but in any event, I'm still behind. I'm catching up though. All right. Qs down 3.5. Come on, Qs. Look, the Qs have only been, since November, the Qs have only been above water from their November price, for 3 days or something. And that was, I think that was before gold and silver crashed. You can see the gold and silver crash. It hit all of these because it also bled over into Bitcoin. Or did the Bitcoin crash lead into gold and silver? Whatever. It was not good. It was not good here. We had a major problem here in November, and then another problem here in January. All right, but QLDY is down 6.3. Now look at this. It looks like GPTY and what's this one? GPTY and K yield right together, and it looks like Howard passed K yield. I mean, past GPTY. GPTY doesn't have gold and silver. Howard does. He had a good day today, so great job. Alti had a nice day today. I mean, what was it up again? Alt I was up. Had a great day, but Alt Y had a pretty good day too, right? Well, actually not. It was doing better earlier in the day. All right. Well, at least it was up. And we can see that, the equity curve is going the right direction. It's beating WPay. It's been beating WPay for ever since that big sell-off happened. It passed WPay because WPay doesn't have puts, gets extra and also has leverage, gets extra downside. I would think WPay will pass it again on the way up here at some point. But then we have LFGY down 26. This one has been hurting lately. And then we have Blocks. Now, Blocks is doing a good job against ULTI. I mean, ULTI, there's two things. I'm thinking this was a crypto sell-off anyway, but Blocks did get hit worse than ULTI. Blocks was only down 15, and then, within a week was down 37. ULTI, on the other hand, was down 21, and then all of a sudden ended up down 37. But Blocks, outperformed on the downside in this pullback, but Blocks is catching them on the upside again. So, and these aren't the same. ULTI is not a crypto fund. Blocks is crypto. ULTI is some crypto, but it's also some tech. All right, so let's look at. I don't have anything else for you guys other than. Well, I'm so glad I'm in Discord. I'm so glad I'm in Discord. You guys have no idea. You guys, this is a good. This ETF Shelf is a pretty good little app. I just happened upon it. It's just trying to sell you stuff too. I mean, but it's not a bad app. Okay, so I was going to look at StockTools.app, and StockTools.app is in my Max profile, which is right here. All right, so income ETF analysis. Let's select all, and let's look for a day. I don't care about a week yet. Maybe tomorrow we'll start looking at a week. And by Friday, definitely the week's interesting. And, and then at the end of the month's interesting. But all right, so here we have it. The worst one is MST, go figure. Boy, CLM has been taking it on the chin. They had an issue yesterday. And one of you guys was griping about that it was down, that they paid a dividend, but it was down and hadn't recovered yet. And but anyway, that one's a solid one, but something's going on with it. Like I always say, I try not to talk that much about those because I don't really understand the mechanics of closed-end funds like I do cover calls, but that's what I ask you guys about. You guys know all about it. I'm sure you already know what's happening. But I'm in charge of figuring out what happens whenever a covered call goes wrong. You guys are in charge of figuring out what happens whenever these closed-end funds go wrong. But I'm learning, though. We'll get it down. All right. So, and here's the one I have, BITX, down 4.6. That's not great. Anyway, is that just for a day? Gosh darn it. All right. Well, my account was up though for the day, 4/10. So I was up 9/10 earlier in the day, but then the market sold off. All right. So the best performing one of the day is Murny. Would you go look at that? Then we have PLTW catching more than all the upside because of that sweet leverage. We have XOMO trying to jump back up here into first place. It's probably mad that those other ones passed him up, right? He's competitive. NVDW doing a great job as usual. Carvana doing a good job. If you guys, I talked a little bit about Carvana, a Carvana strategy for earnings in that video I did today. I wonder if I think their earnings are after the bell. Maybe we should go look at Carvana earnings in a second. Anyway, AMZW, GDXY killing it. I mean, up 2.1%. PLYY having a good day. NBYY, NFLW, AIYY, AZYY, AMZP, InFly. It's just a good day all around. Now, of course, Soxy got in on the action. Fiat even got in on the action. Those anyway. And 5E finally, 5E had a good day. Feed and 5E had a rare good day. All right, well, what do you guys want to talk about? I've monopolized the conversation long enough. I'm glad that SB is here. I'm glad all of you guys are here, but I haven't seen SB around as much lately. But we're going to start doing some more option content here, SB. So, okay. So how about the many reports out now that are verifying? Well, yeah, I mean, I hear you. And that's why I've never been, I'm a free trade guy. I'm a Ronald Reagan free trade guy. That's what Reagan did. He opened up the world. I mean, and not only him, but I mean, we'll open up the world, let us compete on a semi-fair thing and let our Navy patrol the oceans. That's the one drawback is the forever wars and the Navy, and having a Navy with 12 aircraft carriers is expensive, but we have the best economy in the history of the world, or we did have it for my entire lifetime. I mean, and then NAFTA, and then you open up NAFTA and you open up the Detroit, Mexico, America supply chain with cars. And yeah, it was awesome. All right. It was awesome to grow up in that time. Hey, Heather, I think you may be a first time commenter. I appreciate you being here. I've never noticed you in here before. And then we have another first-time commenter, DP Gain or something. Okay. Anyway, in bonds, he's a regular in here, as is Fish. Fish is trying to figure out. You were the one talking about that yesterday. Okay. Well, let's talk to. Okay, we're going to have closed-end fund Thursday on the Daily Factor tomorrow night. I'll find out something by then. But I'm just going to be honest. What I'm going to do is go see if Brad knows what's going on. He follows that really closely. Brad's a real detail-oriented guy. He tracks like 800 of these. I mean, I think I have I'm tracking 222 high-yield ETFs and think I'm doing a great job. Brad's an overachiever, but he knows, he'll know. And more volume than normal CLM too. It looks like a sell-off, maybe expecting that. Yeah, maybe people were front-running the rights offering or something. Maybe there's a rumor going. There's Brad. Speaking of Brad, hey Brad, KCOP has a 60% allocation to treasuries. That's why. Okay, well that's good to know. I didn't know that. Interesting. So how long's KCOP been out yet? I guess I've missed. It was like since yesterday, right? I've missed out on the KCOP. I didn't comment on it yesterday. It may have been out longer than that. I mean, things. 3 days. Yeah. Well, we'll take 2%. If it could just be up 2% every day, that'd be great, right? I'd even be fine if it was just up 0.5% every day. But anyway, all right. Yeah, no, trucking for dividends does not like ULTY. I hear you. To each his own. Yeah, I've been actually doing pretty well in it. But I had to sell. I sold a lot of it at a higher price too. So. Okay, if the price keeps dropping like this, it'll cancel the rights offering because premium to NAV will be too low. Yeah, I hear you on that. Okay, hey, Mayor, You like that hedging video? Have you? Oh, I haven't. Okay, it's on my to-do list, like a lot of things are, but it keeps getting pushed behind because these guys keep bringing out new funds. I have to get something on gold and silver out. I think that's going to be more interesting. But XRMI and QRMI, I mean, I'll do a private review I'll review it and tell you what I think of it. But it may be a while before I get before I get around to content, because after the gold and silver content, I'm going to try to make content on nukes and the other one, but now they've been delayed. They aren't coming out yet. And then I also have some content coming out on the worst yield max fund. It's not ULTY, believe it or not. But I have a really good video about how to spot the really bad funds. I think that one's going to be good too. But I know I promised you I'd do that. I'm sorry, man. But thanks for reminding me. We'll look at them here in a second, and I'll give a real quick look. Mark's saying the only leveraged ETFs I use are for buying weekly calls as the downside. It's too much for my stomach. Yeah. So I had WPay, and anyway, I mean, I'm saying, well, I had to sell Alti. I did sell Alti at higher prices, a lot of it, but then I turned around and bought WPay, and it did even worse. The thing about Alti, I see, if the market's going down, Alti even does a little better than a lot of the other funds. So now, so anyway, but be that, and it's spanking WPay right now. But like I said, WPay passes back on the way up. So as many new funds every time a new fund comes out that I want to make room for, I sell the ones that are the laggards, and Alti's definitely the laggard. It's down to only 6% of my portfolio now. I locked in some massive profits. Selling it in September, then again in October, because I bought it in April and I dripped it the whole time. So yeah, I actually made like 20% on the first couple of tranches that I sold. But yeah, I'm underwater now on what I have left, unfortunately. All right, we got a new first-time commenter. You've recently learned that it's mathematically impossible for most covered calls to be. Yeah, math is well, I wouldn't say that, but here's the way I'd put it. Well, yeah, you could. I wouldn't say impossible, but with the covered call premium is a tax on the future upside. So yes, if you have one that pays 50%, you need the assets in that fund to be up around 50% to even have flat NAV. So you have one that pays 50 cents like NVDY, and everyone loves it, but maybe NVIDIA was up to 100%. So in a year, NVIDIA's up 200%. Heck yeah, NVDY will work. NVDW will work. We're even a little bit better because it's up. But yeah, if you have a year where NVIDIA is flat, the fund's going to bleed off 50% because you're still taking the money. So yeah, I'd agree with you. It is a tough hill to climb. It's a tough hill to climb, and that's why the ones that are the ones that pay 8 to 12%, they still have a little bit of. They still have a little bit of problems, but just nothing nearly as serious as the ones that pay 30, 40, 80%. Okay. Did I make the leverage math comment, or are you talking about a comment? Anyway, but yeah, with me, leverage works. I think there's a better alternative than leverage. And I'll show you what it is. That's actually a great question. And I don't know if this is going to work out. Sometimes I try to show you guys stuff and it proves a point that you guys are trying to say. So I haven't got this planned out, but here's so leverage works both ways. So let's do something like XBTY. Yeah. Okay. So that's leverage, and it's based on Bitcoin. All right. And then we're going to compare it to something, and we'll see if this works out. Like I say, sometimes, but my thesis is that leverage works both ways, and a better solution than leverage is the lightning spread idea, which is like leverage, but I think it's better leverage. It doesn't have as much downside as leverage is. So let me try to illustrate it though. Lightning spread still does add extra risk, but I think it's a better way to put on risk than leverage, than buying the leverage funds. But but if you guys disagree or whatever, I would be willing to, entertain other thoughts on it. I'm just having a hard time getting this all in one screen because it's decayed so much. All right. So we got here little settings, adjust. Okay. So yeah, we want the data just for dividends. So, and I was just going to run it against Blocks. And Blocks has a lightning spread, which is it's what I call local leverage. Blocks is levered too, but only between the strikes of their puts. And David actively manages those. When he's bullish, he'll spread the strikes wider apart. When he's bearish, he'll scoot the strikes closer together. It won't stop him from losing, but the distance between the strikes is the amount of leverage. So David can control the amount of leverage dynamically because you're double long between the two strikes. The difference with WPay, though, is WPay has 20% leverage at all times. So if you have a week where the market's it works both ways, but the lightning spread is only levered down to the bottom put strike. Then below that, you're back to just losing like stock with not losing extra. So let me see if I can illustrate this. Comparing Blocks to XBTY may not be a fair comparison because Blocks also uses stocks that are miners and they have extra risk and stuff. I get that, but I think these ideas are a better way if you want to try to get a little extra upside. I think the lightning spread ideas. So there's several ways you could get exposure to that idea right now. You could get MAGO. Okay, so where is so MAGO is now the one in. Okay, so MAGO's now this one. Okay, so let me switch this one and we'll just put in, YMAG or MAGY. Or I know a lot of people like MAGY, so we'll just slap that in. Okay, so once again, not once again. Hang on. Okay, this time Maggie definitely does better in that scenario. Great job, Maggie. Say a lot of you guys like Maggie. I prefer YMAG, but in any event, all right. So, but there's another way. There's another way to get lightning spread exposure, and that's meme Y. And meme Y, we'll compare meme Y with, let's compare meme Y with meme. Maybe that one's, I have it blacked out. All right. And there's also QLDY. And then there's also GX and FIAX. And now there's Golden and SLVX. Those are all lightning spreads, which means, yes, they're levered between the strikes of the puts, but I'm going to say that is less leverage typically than like a WPay has. So, and you only get the double leverage down to a point. Under a point, you're back to a single loss, which it still sucks. But okay, Mayor's a fan of Reagan also. I probably should have stayed off politics. I'll try to stay off politics. But anyway, all right. I think a lot of people my age are, but Mayor, I've always thought you were a younger guy. I picture you as a younger guy, but maybe not. Obama had the best stock market in history, but or the second best one, but he did benefit from Bush screwing up the economy so much. And well, not really Bush, the bankers screwing up the economy so much. And he started from a low price, but yeah. Obama was, I don't have a problem with Obama. I'm on the different side of the fence, but yeah, he did a good job economically. I'm on the different philosophical side, but yeah, economics was good. Okay, so trucking, Max, it split back to 50 a few months ago. They're literally paying your money back. Okay, which one split back to 50 a few? Oh, Alti, I know. I'm not telling you to buy it. Heck yeah, I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm just saying, it depends on when you got in it. I mean, It's from the time I bought my first tranche, it's actually even. Everyone acts like it's just losing money hand over fist, but yeah, it hasn't done great lately for sure. It hasn't done great. Yeah, and I'm not telling anyone to buy it. In fact, the stuff and that's the reason I invented this. These are the ones you should buy. These are the best performing ones on a risk adjusted basis. ULTI, Y, or I are like at the bottom of this. It's doing terrible. These are your momentum ones right now. So and that's why I have this show on every night, but the top 10. So if you're a guy that used to have ULTY, but you don't like that it's split and it's doing poorly lately, TSMY might work, CHIP-Y might work. And then you could use some of these closed-end funds. I mean, XOMO, the one that's the closest probably to like an Alti that's diversified, that's doing well would be like an IWMI. That thing's killing it from NEOS. A lot of you guys like NEOS. I do too. So yeah, that's the purpose for this. I can't, I can't keep track of them all the time, but like I say, I like the way Alti protects capital on the downside. But yeah, I was disappointed when it split too. And it's going to split again in about 3 years or 4 years, most likely based on math. If the market does bad, maybe in 2 years. If the market does great, it might make it 4 years. But yeah, so definitely don't buy it. I don't think any of you guys have it. There's one or two of you guys that do, but I mean, hell, I sold most of mine too. It's the idea you buy low, sell high. After that April low, I loaded the boat on it, and then I sold a third of it in September, another third in October, another third in November, another third the other day. I'm down to 6%. So I've done that. That's actually been a pretty good trade for me. All right. So Fish is saying, thanks, Brad. That's what I'm thinking too. Fish, last year around this time, we dropped, and then the rights offering came. However, I do like buying discounted Cornerstone. Heck yes. Heck yeah, we all like a deal. Yeah, no, I don't know what I know Mark is a fan, but I haven't been in Discord that much lately, but here he is. He'll respond. All right, so instead of writing out of the money cover calls, why not write deep in the money cover calls? Yeah, no, the reason is because you get even less upside. But yes, if you knew the market was going to drop all day long, you'd go as far in the money as you could. I mean, but if you knew the market was going to go up, covered calls get a big part of cover call strategies get a big part of the return from the market moving until it hits the cap. So, most of these funds want to go out of the money as far as possible. Or, go out of the money the right amount. You can also go so far out of the money you don't make any principal. But yeah, there's all kinds of different ones. For instance, there are some funds that write options right at the money, and they have a little better downside performance in a down market than ones that write options out of the money. And there's people on YouTube, influencers, that talk about doing in the money cover calls. And yeah, no, that can be a good play. I know that a lot of people like that. Brad, you don't have a clue why Cornerstone dropped? Yeah, I wonder what the deal is. What with their underlying speed that dumped? I mean, what dumped today? Nothing really. I can't think what they would have exposure to that dumped today. But they have like 500 stocks in there. I looked over their positions before. They have a heck of or they did when I looked over them. They had a heck of a portfolio. All right. So Fish, the CLM revenue and net income is negative. Maybe people are concerned about this. Yeah, possibly. Man, I wish I could do every time. Okay. I'll tell you. So I opened a futures account when the S&P mini first got invented. It was 2004 or something. And I maxed out a credit card for $7,500 to trade, and it lasted about 6 months, and I had a hell of a good time. But and then I'm trying to think. Then there was another time too but anyway, it's not futures fault. I'm kind of impulsive. I used to be, especially when I was younger, impulsive, and in my old age, I'm turning into more detail type guy, and and that's why I have all these spreadsheets and all this data and stuff. But yeah, as a young man, I had a few rough experiences. But anyway, Mark, Brad, and yes, you're still buying them on. You know what I thought about doing though, just for content? Because I'm not giving up on trading futures. I'm going to figure out how to trade futures before I die. That's one of the things I want to do in my old age. I thought about getting a prop account and trying to get some of you guys in Discord to get a prop account too. Next time Apex has a special, 90% off, it's cheap. We should all get prop accounts. And then, and we need to get up every morning. We need to watch the same show that Mark watches. It's, I forget the name of it, but that guy is so good. But anyway, that's what I would do. You can prepare however you want. And then, yeah, and I'd love to learn, and we can make some. I don't really want to make content on it. It's not a futures channel, but I've actually thought about. I was gonna, if any of you guys would be interested in, I'll do that next time. Next time we'll just get a prop account, because my problem is futures move so fast. Let's get a prop account and try to trade with someone else's money. Because I've got a prop account like 4 times a couple of years ago, even when I've been older and more detail oriented, and I was never able to beat the prop account, but I'm not going to give up on it. I would love to do that if anyone wants to do it with me. The reason I don't do that is because I actually did it one time since I had this channel about 2 years ago, because Apex was running a sell, but I just felt like I was cheating on the channel, because it takes so much attention. Those futures move so fast. I trade the 5-minute chart. I tried to trade a slower chart, but I'm going to learn how to do it. If I ever figure it out, I'll tell you guys. But Mayor's a younger guy. You just like it, kick ass. All right. Yeah, I figured you are. I can tell usually when I talk to people. I have pictures I'd say Brad's 45. I'd say Mayor's 35. I'd say, I don't know, and I know Mark's age because we've talked about it before, but I could be totally wrong. But anyway, inside of a prop firm, Max, you never owned yeah, exactly. But all I care, I don't want to lose $7,500 again. So I'm going to do with the prop firms until I figure out how to do it. I'm sure it's not a great deal. Of course, there's no free money. No one's going to give you free money unless I get that. Anyway, hey, I was just looking at it for training purposes. Because what you can do, I'm a systematic person. I have a system that I want to try. It's a good way. That's one way to try it out. Yeah, I'm not the Wolf of Wall Street. If I was the Wolf of Wall Street, I'd just open up an account and start slinging them. But you have to know your limitations. Okay. Mark is saying that he likes Trade Brigade, and I love Trade Brigade. I like this guy named Vincent Diasano or something. I think he's really good. So's Trade Brigade and Clay Trader. I don't know if I've heard of Clay Trader. It's heck yeah. I'll have to check out Clay Trader. Joe is 50. Okay. Good to know. Good to know. And I'm going to be 60. So, and BR wishes he was 45. So, okay. All right. So, I can tell BR, see, to me, somebody 45 is in my generation, or 50. That's still Gen X. You still grew up in the 80s, and you grew up in the 90s. You know what grunge is about. You aren't an internet kid when you're 45 years old. So the guys, yeah, all my friends here in Austin are between 40 and 45. That's what all my friends are. And they are all, 80s kids, anyway. And I figured as much. I think we're all younger than Mark, maybe except Tom, but no, I'm just joking. Tom and Mark, I think, are they're our most seasoned investors, but I think I'm third, right behind him. Yes. And another great one is Peter Resnicek. Absolutely. Does anyone know this guy on a kind of a separate topic? I've heard there are prop firms that do options. That would be so, I would like to give that a try sometime too. But from what I researched it once, and there are ones, but not online or whatever. That Apex, I just like Apex. Do you guys ever use anyone? I've used Apex. I've used, there's another one that's real big. I forget what it's called, that does a lot of advertising and stuff. I just like Apex. I just like Apex. But yeah, I'm sure it's a bad deal. Okay, trucking for dividends. You made 8K. So are you using MNQ or big? You're using the big NQs, man. That's awesome. Kick ass. Okay, so the other thing about futures that is really attractive to me is I've seen the people that do it well can trade the open when there's a lot of volatility, or trade the first hour, or maybe trade the last hour, or maybe trade the evening session, but they don't necessarily have to do that all day. Futures is intense. Well, that's awesome. Well, man, I'd like to. So what did you do? Did you buy a pullback? Were you buying into a gap, or did you watch it? Did you decide where you would buy the dip, and did you put a line on a chart and it got there and you buy? How far of a stop loss did you use? I'd be interested. I mean, don't you hate when your stop loss is too close? And oh man, I mean, but anyway, sometimes your stop loss can be too far also. I mean, that's awesome, dude. I'm gonna, before I die, I'm gonna figure out, I'm gonna beat a prop account. And then if I can do that, yeah, then I'll get a real account, but I'm gonna learn with other people's money. Yes, I did know that. I was always picturing Soxel as a kid, but one day we were talking and we were in direct messaging each other. Yeah, I just can remember. I knew there was one other seasoned investor out there, and yeah, so there's four I know of, and there's a real nice guy that when my Discord first started, that was also, I forget his name though, but anyway, but I haven't seen him around yet. That's how I am, Mayor. I've done it, been there. I mean, it is so frustrating. I mean, futures is frustrating. I mean, here's what I don't like about it. I like how options have asymmetry. In futures, there's no asymmetry. It's just like stock. It can go up or it can go down. Yeah, you can use a stop loss, but I don't, in options, I don't use a stop loss. As you guys know, I've told you a million times, I just let the option be the stop loss. I figure out how much if I want to, especially if I want to buy calls, not selling options, but when I'm taking a shot, heck, what I'll do is I'll go buy a call at 2. And then as soon as I buy it, I'll buy 2 of them or 4 of them, whatever. As soon as I buy it, I'll put in an order to sell half at 4 and then hopefully try to get a runner. But in whatever case, I don't have to. What I hate is the decision making. I hate when it's going down and then you decide to get out and it inevitably turns around. You just do options and you do the same amount that you're willing to lose. That is your stop loss, and you can never get faked out. But because, as you guys know, in futures, they run your stop losses all the time. It's a game. I mean, that's the whole idea. So, I mean, heck, does anyone watch Tori Trades? She's a attractive woman I think she's from Florida, has a Southern accent, and really attractive. Anyway, she does. She's an influencer, and I don't know how successful she is at trading versus how successful she is at influencing. But she got a Ferrari F12 the other day. Check. Oh gosh, do you guys know what an F12 is? I think it's the best Ferrari. I don't like rear engine cars. I like cars with a front engine, like a Corvette, a muscle car. Muscle cars have big, giant front engines, and I like a car with a giant rear end, like a Corvette or like a well, not like a Lambo, but I just think this car is the best looking car on the road. I mean, anyway, she got a purple one of these. She said it cost $511,000. She's an influencer. You never know. She probably leased it, or it's probably her boyfriend's, and who knows? But anyway, but yeah, I mean, okay, trucking, you have 3 pro accounts. That's awesome. Okay. Opening range breakout. I love that. I love that idea. I've never been there. I was just like everything. I've tried it, but anyway, direction plus volume is all you need. Yeah. Okay. Mark uses anchored VWAP and the Klinger oscillator. Are you serious? I've never even heard of that. Man, I'm glad there's futures traders in here. I'm obsessed with this kind of stuff, especially futures are the most systematic, and well, options are real mathematical and systematic, but futures do have a lot of cool things. The way they move so fast, you can make enough money for the whole day in 5 minutes, as you guys know. But then you have to decide, are you a scalper? Are you trading positions? Are you gonna, Are you gonna average down? Are you gonna start with one position? If it goes against you, you're gonna add another one. Then it's just, I mean, it's awesome though. Okay, so I need to check into the Klinger oscillator, the 1 minute and 3 minute time frame, pick entry points, and aim for 20 or 25% profit for quick cash on UVIX and SPX options. Okay. So you're day trading options, and that's cool. Also, scalping options with the 1 and 3 minute. On SPXS is so liquid. I mean, that's awesome. Mark is the man. Mark is the man. Okay, yeah, you okay. I figured that you guys might know Tori also. She's awesome. Now, what is her channel? Tori Trades. And she is just, her voice is just, I mean, there's something about Southern voices, Southern accents for me. I mean, my gosh. But she has some good content. Now that I think about it, she's also impulsive. She overtrades. She does have some good content. Anyway, but yeah, do you need me to put a link in here? I'll put a link in here. But yeah, I would start, but I don't think I would watch her to learn. I'd watch her. I mean, but I would definitely watch that Vincent D'Asano guy and the people you guys are talking about. Yeah. And it doesn't get much better than the guy Mark watches. He's just so good. So good. Okay. So you have a Dodge Demon and a 392. Kick ass, man. Yeah. 392 Wrangler. So is that, I don't even know what that is. Obviously I know what a Wrangler is, but what are those one Jeeps that are like as fast as a Porsche that do like 0-60 and 4 flat? They're like a Jeep special vehicle, SVR. So anyway, but yeah, that I'm picturing that one's an older Jeep with a giant big block engine in it. So let's see how close I am. Yeah, Tori Trades is her name. Anyway, yeah, she does have some. She has some good comment. Okay, I figured as much. You got the old big block. My friends in high school, I had one friend that his dad was a doctor and he was spoiled, and he'd get a Jeep, and one night he took that Jeep. It was the one you just said, Wrangler, and then my other friend had one of those Jeeps that looks like a pickup, but it's not. It's forget what it's called, but anyway, we had so much fun in high school. And then my other friend had a Jeep too. Remember, my one friend whose dad was a doctor, he went to we have a river in Norman, got stuck in quicksand, and the nose of the Jeep got buried in the river. The butt was sticking out, but the river ran into the motor all night. It was midnight, and we just went home. He didn't want to tell his dad because, I mean, anyway, he ended up getting a new one like 6 months later. So it must not have been that big a deal, but yeah, he ruined that thing. I mean, they went and pulled it out the next day, and the dealership said, yeah, there's like, that's, you just need to trash it. But yeah, Jeeps are awesome. My son drives a Jeep. The town I grew up in, all the cool kids have Jeeps. That's what you have. I mean, in pickups, a lot of people have F-150s and stuff. But anyway, okay, Mayer has a 97 C200. Yeah, my dad used to have a really badass, like a late 90s. He bought it from a client. His client died and the wife needed to sell it, and it had hardly any miles on it. And it was like a 420. It was like a 98, like 420 SE. It wasn't the big one, not the 500, the 600, but it was a bigger one. Yeah. And he loved that car. And then my friend whose dad is a doctor, he has all the money he wanted. He could have driven whatever he wanted. And his whole life, he passed away a few years back. His whole life, he always had a Mercedes E300. He just loved that E300. And those are, for a mellow car, an E300's a nice car, but he could have had a bigger one or whatever. But yeah, I'm a real car buff. What's the fastest car you guys have ever had? The fastest car I've ever had was I'm going to pull it up right here. And I haven't had a lot of fast cars, so I'm not saying I'm not trying to brag on it, but there was an anomaly. My dad gave this car to me too. There was an anomaly he probably gave it to me when he bought that Mercedes, but there was an anomaly with the 1992 Infiniti Q45. And I am telling you, that thing was a beast. I heard they made it too fast by accident. And in Japan on the test track, I've heard that it would do like 160 on a bank track or some like real high number, 155 or something. Well, the American Insurance Institute would not insure it. So they put a governor on it, and it was governed at 100 or 120, kind of a low number, but I think 120. But man, and I tested that guy. I mean, but it would get there so fast before it would shut you down. I mean, that thing was a monster. And that's what it was. The dealer didn't offer my dad any money for it. And he said, you want this? And I think maybe I gave him a few thousand for it or something. But yeah, I love that car. And I ended up, I was racing somebody and I threw a rod. That one ended up, anyway. And then but then I also had one of these that was not as fast. An 84 high output Z28. That's what I had in college when my friends all had Jeeps. It's the classic, not super fast. It had a lot of torque, but it was a fun car. But yes, I was racing a Volkswagen Jetta, like a turbocharger. This thing Jetta was fast, man. I was racing a Volkswagen Jetta and I threw a rod in that car, after I was like 6 or 7 years old. But, so which is the first 200 mile an hour car you've ever owned? It was the Tesla. Oh no, wait, the Demon. Heck yeah, you're the Demon for sure. But you're eyeing a Tesla Plaid. It's too bad they quit making the Plaid. When I got that Z28, I also went the same day and I drove an 85 high output Mustang, but I'm a Chevy guy. I just prefer the Z28. It's set lower. I like the low sitting, and it was more like a Corvette. I mean, but Mustangs are great too. My friend who had the Jeep and the dad that was a doctor, he had a 5-liter Mustang and it was badass. But then he sold it and he got a 1985 Corvette, which was the first one. The 84 Corvettes were kind of a dog. They went to like 0-60 and 7 flat or 6-8 or something. They were dogs. But then they came out with the 85, and it had different tailpipes. The tailpipes, instead of turning down, stuck straight out. And that thing was, according to Road and Track, would do 0-60 and 5 flat, which is slow by today's standards. But back in the day, 5 flat was the same speed as a 930 Porsche, a Porsche 930. That was back in the day. Those were supposedly 5 flat. And then my friends all had better cars than I did. Then also my friend with the Jeep that he destroyed got a 1986 Grand National Buick, and just like this. And that thing was anyway, I could talk cars all day. I mean, my dad raised me to be a car guy. My dad's always been a European guy. He likes BMWs and Mercedes. And he had a 530i BMW, a 77 530i. And it was my first car. He ended up getting a Lincoln, and he gave me the 530i, and that was and I had that before I had the Z28. That was a cool car, and I learned how to drive a stick on it. Everyone should have to know how to drive a stick. And BMW has a nice transmission. It had a little 4-speed. Oh man, that car was so fun. I've been lucky as far as cars go. But then I've had a nice F-150, but anyway, Mark, I bet Mark's had some good cars. You had a 67 Chevelle, or speaking of big blocks, you purchased a 407 with an M22 tranny transmission. I shouldn't say tranny. And a 411 rear end. Don't know how fast it would go. The speedometer only went to 120. Wow. Yeah. Oh, G and X. Exactly. My friend's was not the G and X. I do not believe. But the reason I thought of it was because this thing also had a car and driver 0-60 time of 5 flat. And anything sub 5 in the mid 80s was amazing. You had this car right here. Well, you guys know what it looks like. I was going to put up a Ferrari 308, the Tom Selleck model 8-cylinder Ferrari 308. That thing did like 0-60 and 7.1, or some kind of slow time. My Z28 had a 0 to 60 time of like 7.4 or something. And it was pretty quick back in the day. But you know, cars were just slower then. Also, you know, back in the 70s, the government got involved and they raised the emission standards and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Yeah, that 5 Series BMW I had, I mean, oh my gosh, dude. My dad used to tell me, I didn't know anything about cars, but because I was like, when he got it, I was like 12, you know, but then he was always telling me, this has the best transmission, son. This transmission is just so, and it's so tight and the clutch is good and tight. And then he loved BMW so much, he got it 2002. A BMW 2002, but then he bought a restaurant and he gave it to the owner of the restaurant or sold it to him or whatever. But yeah, my dad said he loves those German cars. We used to take that BMW up into Santa Fe in the summertime, up at Angel Fire and Taos, and man, just zip around those hills. He used to tell me, man, these BMWs are made in Bavaria. They're made for these hills, you know, in Colorado and Santa Fe and stuff. Heck yeah. My dad raised me on cars. I'm a car guy. My dad and I, he's not into music or whatever. So, I mean, he wasn't a guitar player. I had to learn that on my own. But the thing he taught me was cars and also stocks and accounting, you know, business type stuff. Anyway, it is ridiculous that most Teslas would, I mean, how can, yes, even a Model 3 would, you know, a Model 3 could probably go 0 to 100 faster than my high output Z28 could get to 60. You know, I mean, yeah, those Teslas are amazing. My dad used to tell me, I mean, he used to say, son, there's no substitute for cubic inches. He's a big muscle, you know, but because back in the day they had turbos, but turbos had a delay. And, you know, nowadays turbo technology's come a long way. But, you know, he loved, you know, a big and anyway. But yeah, he's a big influence on me, obviously. But yeah, Teslas are crazy. It's almost like cheating. They ought to have a different category for electric cars. I mean, but yeah, dollars per, I mean, don't guess you can get a faster car than the Tesla, given the amount of money you have. I think there are cars that are as fast, but maybe like a Bugatti and just super exotic cars that cost $500,000 or more, maybe as fast as Teslas. But you can get a housewife in a Tesla, a Model 3, you know, and she'll be doing 0 to 60 in 4.5 or something. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. All right, guys. Well, I've rambled on enough, but I love talking about this stuff. There's 20 of you guys still here, so I guess you guys like talking about it too. But funny enough, my friend this guy that had the Jeep and the Grand National and his brother that had the Mustang, I'm teaching him options right now. We were on the phone for like an hour. He's a lawyer, but he's going to retire soon. He's learning how to sell premium. I'm showing him how to sell premium. He has some Amazon. He's holding the bag on though, but he's writing that premium. Anyway, he's a good guy. I need to get him to come on the show sometime. He's a good guy. Anyway, all right. Fast Jet, the electric Porsche also handles like a sports car. Yeah. The one thing about the Tesla, Model 3 is not going to win any type of race if it has to go around a corner, you know, because I wouldn't think it handles very well. Now, those Platts probably handle pretty dang good, but I heard they quit making the Platt or quit making the Model S altogether. But yes, just in a straight line, you could have a housewife or a whatever. I mean, that Model 3 is impressive. It is darn impressive. All right, guys. So what's on the calendar for tonight? I have this video coming up that I'm just going to review the positions in the trades, and I'm going to talk more about the lightning spread stuff. And we're going to do that well, I don't know. I'm going to record that now and hopefully release it like at 7. And then I'm going to give it an hour, and then I'll do my live stream at 8. And it's Wednesday night, so we need to think of a theme for tonight on the factor. Let's just go look over here. I mean, let's just look at these. I mean, closed-in fund is Thursday night. So we have closed-in, or maybe Friday. Closed-in fund Friday night. So, you know, we did tech yesterday, and we did Bitcoin Monday. So maybe we do steady stuff. That's boring. We'll do Sleepy Wednesday. And I'll put in things. They could be closed-in funds. I mean, like I could put in, I'm trying to think, just like I'm going to try to just choose bad stuff, or not bad stuff, but stuff that's non-volatile, like dog, you know, and there's some closed-end funds that are super unvolatile. Maybe I'll just put in stuff with the stable dex higher than 150, which would mean it's, you know, 50% more stable than the SPY. Maybe we'll look at all the stable funds. I think that'd be fun. All right, guys. So be here at 8 tonight or 9 your time. We'll look at the stable stuff and see which one's the best. I'm guessing that it might be dog because it's, I mean, we'll see. We shall see. I don't know who's going to be in it yet, but that should be fun. And be looking for my video. If you guys are interested in Golden and Silva X, I'm going to have some good content on those as well. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for letting me talk about cars. I enjoy you guys' car stories. Next time we all need to bring pictures. I'd like to see a picture of Mark Shell. I bet you have some pictures of that. I bet that thing was a beast, Mark. And I bet and I don't even know, and Truckin' Joe or whatever your name is, Joe or Truckin', that demon, what is a demon? Before I get off, I'm going to go look it up. I mean, is it some kind of Dodge or something? I mean, I just read it really quick, but I mean, yeah. Where is it? I'm just going to guess Dodge Demon. There we have it. Okay. Yeah. So it's a Challenger. Oh, okay. Yeah. Heck yes, dude. Heck yes. You want to talk? My dad would have liked that. I mean, or will like that. He's still alive, but he would like that because there's no substitute for cubic inches. Well, now it is supercharged, but supercharging's come a long way. Back in the day, you didn't really want a turbo. You just wanted a big, you know, 427. 427 Cobra is probably, if I just had all the money in the world, that might be one of the first cars I'd get. But one of the second ones I get is that same Ferrari that Tori has. I love the F12, but a 427 Cobra, that is a legendary car. As you guys know, we used to go to a race every year and watch a historic auto race. And that's how I know about them, because we used to go out to Laguna Seca to go to the historic auto races in the summertime. And man, that car's badass. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Remember, this is not financial advice. This is car advice tonight. I am licensed to give car advice, and I'm telling you the stuff I said, I back up. I like the 427 Cobra. It's a good car if you have a lot of money. I can give car advice, but the stock advice was not financial advice. Check anything you hear from me or from anyone else with a financial planner. If you care to support the station, you can always do so at paypal.me/Max Convexity. And outside of that, please like and subscribe. And I will talk to you guys soon, unless I need to respond to this comment. Nope, I don't. All right, later, guys. Have a good one.